Hey everyone, welcome to my analysis of the recent character trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, go ahead and watch it first and then come back to this. I'm going to be talking about stuff that we see in the trailer, some of the kind of cryptic messages that are left by the narrator. And I'm going to try and decipher a little bit maybe about what the story might be about, or what kind of struggles Eivor might go through in their story. I actually just saw this trailer for the first time not long before this goes up. So these are pretty fresh, kind of off the cuff takes on my part. So let's get started.
I can see your fate.
So the first thing we notice is there's a narrator by like a priestess or a seer or something like that, talking to Eivor, telling them about the ability to see their future. This, is based in kind of their Norse religion, and maybe it's being done so by some sort of stone or some sort of power, or that the priestess or the seer has access to. But in Assassin's Creed lore, they could be referring to kind of the calculations that the Isu kind of dabbled in, or not dabbled, used to predict the future and try and stop catastrophic events from happening. But in the Norse faith, it comes across as fate for Eivor. Get a lot of really awesome shots of Norway here. Looks amazing.
Like a river.
So she's talking about how the fate flows like a river, meaning there's twists and turns, and it has movement, and isn't quite as necessarily as predictable. Like the water moves in a way that you can kind of predict, but still has some amount of freedom within it. This could mean that the seer is seeing Eivor's fate, but not necessarily knowing everything about it. But it's something that continues without kind of stopping.
Carved out before you.
Yeah, so when she's okay, so that's what she means by that. She means like when the water is continuously running, it'll carve out a path that the water behind it can continue on, and so that means she thinks that this fate is kind of predetermined for Eivor.
I can see your desires taking you far from your home.
So we already know that Eivor leaves Norway to come to the English islands in search of a place to live and a place for their people to stay. So not too surprising here.
To lands of power, of mystics and legends. But you are hiding something.
So Eivor is hiding something, and I don't know what that really is. We kind of get the sense that Eivor is a person of the people and is trying to make alliances and is trying to, not necessarily make peace, but is still, out to make a community and still there for like the goodness of her clan. But there's a secret, and there's something maybe more sinister to it. Maybe a hidden motivation, or some sort of trauma that they experienced in the past. I don't know what that is yet, though.
You walk with shadows.
So she's saying you walk with shadows. So that could be relation into this into the secret that Eivor holds. She says walk with shadows, so not necessarily in shadows. So maybe the shadows are Yeah, maybe there's something sinister. It could be in reference to the Hidden Ones. Maybe she's talking about you're in allegiance with the Hidden Ones. So maybe that's what that means.
What is it you seek?
Yeah, again, so Eivor is looking for something. It could be like a piece of Eden. It could be a person. It could be some sort of knowledge. It could be just the sense of peace. Who knows?
I see conquest. I see your enemies.
Okay, so this probably is an enemy of Eivor. I'm thinking this is Guthrum. So Guthrum was a Viking that was part of kind of the Great Heathen Army and fought against King Alfred, but eventually was defeated and actually converted to Christianity and kind of joined the Saxons. So this could be Guthrum, and maybe Guthrum is an enemy of Eivor at some point.
Your struggles, your doubts. Glory awaits you, Eivor, but it will cost you everything.
So the priestess gives Eivor a warning. Something that I feel like is pretty similar to kind of the lesson that Edward learned, is that like for him to chase his dreams, he does lose everything. He loses his family. He loses his all of his friends. And really, this warning is very similar to the creed itself. So Eivor's quest for glory. Maybe they have dreams of reaching Valhalla with Odin and dying gloriously in battle for her clan, their clan, and their people. This priestess is able to kind of see kind of this torturous future that Eivor may encounter by chasing whatever it is they're seeking. So there's this kind of motif that's being used across the video where they're using like a double exposure. Here we're seeing kind of an open gateway inside Eivor, maybe kind of symbolizing something like maybe some sort of opening or some sort of way forward, or kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe it's kind of symbolizing what Eivor is seeking. We saw it earlier in this trailer as well, where the silhouette is being again has the image of this kind of runic prayer stone, I'm guessing. So maybe this is kind of symbolizing the priestess looking into Eivor's future. I'm trying to remember if there's anywhere else in this trailer. I think that's the only two so far. There's a handful of them in this trailer. Okay, so back to this. We'll just go from here. So Eivor is obviously has some sort of victories and glory. This could be in Norway, actually, like before they decide to take off, or it could be in England. But again, a big feast after some sort of victory, people coming up to Eivor and congratulating. Oh, I actually see. Okay, so there's a hidden one there, in the Masyaf kind of robes, the Levantine Brotherhood robes. There's the Cassandra-looking character here. It's definitely not Cassandra. It's definitely not her. She just has the same hairstyle, but it's not her. Yeah, but there's a hidden one right there. Huh. And some combat. Just kind of showing off some cool animations.
I can see all.
This could be England or no, I think this one might be Norway, but I think this game looks incredible. Like, this is definitely the best looking thing I've seen coming out of the kind of marketing campaign so far. Is they did a great job of making this setting beautiful and interesting, which is not what I thought would happen. It just was not a setting I found particularly interesting from the get-go, but they are just killing it with the visuals. It looks great. Okay, so now we are seeing that motif. So again, we're seeing this motif with the double exposure. This time we're seeing kind of the ruins of a Roman Roman statue, probably depicting one of their many gods. And so maybe this is something. Maybe it just looks cool, or maybe it's something about how Eivor's thinking about kind of the death of gods or the death of faith or something like that. I don't know. But we do know that, like, it's very likely that the gods that Eivor believes in are the same ones that we've seen in previous games, and how they're actually all just members of the Isu, just represented in different religions.
Blood and flame, loyalty and family,
So I'm continuing to look for kind of more hidden ones. I don't see it because this looks like the exact same scene that we just saw earlier. Because and then we see the Cassandra looking character here again. Not Cassandra.
Betrayal, hunger. There is a.
So betrayal and hunger. Yep, not surprising. Maybe it's Eivor's betrayal, or someone betrayed Eivor, or Eivor's hunger for glory. Those are all things I would not be surprised to see in this story.
Hunger. There is a war within you.
There's a war within Eivor. So it's tough to figure out what this means. Maybe she's kind of talking about how Eivor's quest for glory, for them and their people, is tied to the ruin of Eivor. You know, how Eivor loses everything, as she says. But there is a theory. I've only seen it maybe once or twice, but maybe there's some sort of choice system here about, maybe at the end there's some sort of decision, or somewhere at the point of the game you side with either the Hidden Ones or the Order of the Ancients, possibly. We're seeing a tree again. This motif shows up another time, where the tree is being used within the silhouette of Eivor. So all of these are, I'm guessing, supposed to represent internal things. So this kind of reminds me of the tree of Yggdrasil, which has significance to the kind of the Norse religion, and is the world tree, and is kind of the structure that holds kind of the world together. And so maybe this is some sort of comment on that, some sort of internalization of Eivor's belief system.
And glory will not be enough.
And then we see it kind of fade away. So maybe this represents glory or something like that. So in Eivor's quest for glory, the priestess says they'll lose it all, but in the end, it won't be enough. So that's a very Assassin's Creed like lesson to learn. Very Black Flag-ish. It's a warning that everyone has to be in command of their own life, and they have to live with the consequences of their choices, and that seeking your own, you're only seeking your desires is not necessarily the way to go. So,
Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
and that's it.
November 17th.
So yeah, thank you for watching my analysis. It was again real quick, kind of sloppy, but I just wanted to get my initial thoughts out there. So thanks again. Feel free to leave a comment, subscribe, share, whatever. Appreciate you guys watching today. Thanks.